Over a year ago, I eliminated all carbohydrates from my diet. I don't eat bread. I don't eat fruit. I don't even eat vegetables anymore, bro. I eat zero freaking carbs, okay? And it has changed my life in so many ways. I've been able to get lean, build muscle, feel absolutely amazing throughout the entire time. And I haven't had the cravings or the freaking binging that I used to constantly endure whenever I was eating carbohydrates. If you don't know me, my name is Keegan. I help people get onto low carb / carnivore. And today we're going to talk about why I stopped eating carbs and how it's changed my life. All right? All right, let's get it. So, the reason why I stopped eating carbs to begin with was that they're addictive. Honestly, that's probably the first and the biggest reason is that I found out that carbs were addictive not only by looking online and seeing that, oh, these things actually are addictive. Sugar is a drug. But I also experienced it myself. Now look, whenever you binge eat pineapple, you know you're in dire straits, dude. You're in some fiend territory. Whenever you binge on fruit, bro. That's insane, dude. I was doing the sugar diet before it was fucking popular, bro. I was just fucking eating just fruit, just binging on fruit, dude. It's terrible. I felt awful. Um, Specifically this one morning, I remember that was early 2024, so a little over a year ago before I started on this, and I was chopping up this pineapple, right, for breakfast, right? I was that much of a fiend. I just needed something sweet for breakfast, right? I was chopping this pineapple up. I chopped it up, and I just had a couple pieces, and then literally like 2 minutes later, I opened up the bowl again. I started just chowing down, and then I stopped. I was like, okay, no, I'm good. But there was something that just in my body that was like, hey, I need to have more food. I need to eat more food. I was full. I was good to go. I was ready to leave and get on with my day. But I just had to have one more piece. Just one more. Just one more. And so I had one more piece. And then another and another. And then the bowl was fucking empty. I ate the whole fucking pineapple, dude. I I just don't get how people like I can understand why some people might think, "Oh, sugar's not addictive." But there's a lot of people out there actually who are susceptible to this stuff. Like the obesity rate in America is like 70%. Do you not think sugar / junk food addiction has something to do with that? Those are like these things, like junk food specifically, is designed for you to overeat it, and it's produced and it's widely available. It's not good. And just tell me what do you think the natural human reaction is going to be whenever there's a drug-like substance or a drug that is widely spread about that people sort of enjoy. They're going to fucking consume it. Okay? Like that's just how human nature is. We chase dopamine on a general basis. So what happens whenever you widely distribute caffeine to everyone? Because that is a drug. It's literally a drug. It's one of the most widely used drugs around is, caffeine, but it's legal, right? The reason why it's, socially acceptable because it's legal, right? But it's still a drug, right? Now, is it good or bad? That's up to you. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just putting this out there. But it's the same thing with sugar. Sugar is so widely produced and available to everyone, but I would argue that that shit is not good for you. It's not helpful in any way. It's addictive and it disrupts your body. The second, I guess this kind of ties into the second reason why I found that I didn't want to eat carbs anymore is because they're toxic to your body. I like glucose and fructose which are two of the kind of the bigger carbohydrates that people consume, they are toxic to your body. They will literally fuse in your bloodstream. They will fuse to cells. They will fuse to proteins, and they'll mess them up and create advanced glycation end products, AGEs. And the process which they create those is glycation, right? That's the fusing process, right? It damages you. It's literally toxic to your body if you're consuming it. That's not good. And yes, our bodies do have some glucose. We don't necessarily naturally make fructose, but we have a certain level of glucose, and there's a reason for that. Our body finally regulates the homeostasis of our blood sugar. And like I said, there's a reason for that. It's because if you get too high, this fusing starts happening too rapidly, and you start getting damage to your blood vessels. That's no bueno. But that's what I've learned about the carbohydrates, is that they're literally toxic. Like, you have around 4-ish grams, I believe, of glucose floating around your blood. If you're at 5 grams, you're diabetic. That's crazy. It's a 1 gram difference in your entire bloodstream. So there's people eating 300 grams of carbs a day. I was one of them. I used to eat 300 grams, 400 grams of carbs a day and getting aged like crazy. Like, AGEs literally age you. It's insane, dude. It's crazy. I'm just thinking, like, there's some people who, they say that they look, that they say they're in their 40s or their late 50s or whatever, and they just look so old. And it's because they're eating a bazillion of carbs. Yeah, it's weird. Like carbs will age you, dude. It's insane. Some people say I look really young for my age, and part of that's probably just genetics. Like, I probably just look young, but I think it's also in part because I'm not just aging myself to hell by doing weird drugs, and I'm not consuming carbohydrates. So my face is probably a little bit more youthful than what you would expect. But that's kind of a side tangent. So those are kind of the two bigger reasons why that I stopped eating carbs. One is because, like I said, like, just to recap, one, compelled me to overeat. Literally, like, they are a drug. They are addictive. If I didn't mention this already, there's a couple other methods that they compel you to overeat too. Reactive hypoglycemia, so your blood sugar goes up whenever you eat carbs. Your insulin comes up to save your ass because it's toxic in your body. It crushes down the blood glucose, but then you go too far and your brain is like, hey bro, what are you doing? Because your brain still does need a little bit of glucose in some areas in order to function properly. And if your insulin is high, you're not going to be producing as many ketones, which is your brain's really main fuel source for 2/3 of your brain anyways. And so if you're not producing ketones and your blood sugar is getting crushed, where is your brain going to get energy from? And so your brain calls out for help. Hey, I need to eat food. Give me something now. I need something. And that's another way that it kind of compels you to eat more food, is you get this crash and then you get the craving from that. So there's that. It just compels you to overeat, bro. Like, it's addictive. It's an addictive drug. It's not good for you, bro. And then the second, like I said, it's toxic. Not to mention, because I eat a carnivore diet, right? There's just a bunch of whack shit in other food, okay? There's lectins, there's other plant toxins, oxalates. There's a bunch of weird shit in plants that you don't find in meat and in protein and fat sources 99% of the time. Like, even if you were just doing like a ketogenic diet without the carbs, you're still going to be running into a couple of those things, but there's problems with stuff that have a lot of carbs in them. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like potatoes have oxalates in them. You've got freaking, if you were to have like cassava or whatever as a food source that has cyanide in it, it's crazy. There's whack shit in plants. Now, if you do a ketogenic diet, I understand. I'd still be aware of those things, of the plant toxins. Yeah, dude, beans. The lectins in beans. Fun fact, the most deadly toxin to like living organisms, or at least like humans, I believe it's called ricin, and they derive it from a bean. And it's like 1 microgram per kilogram kills you, bro. Like, it's insane. It's literally that it's that powerful of a toxin. That's crazy, dude. Um, yeah, they literally derive it from a bean. What? Yeah, it's like plants are not your friends. I'm sorry. That's just the facts. Um, that's just a side like carnivore tangent, but this is about carbs. Let's get it back on track. Um, let's move on to some of the benefits that I've felt whenever I have cut out the carbs. Well, firstly, my appetite has actually gotten re-regulated, so I'm not, fucking hungry all the time. It's really annoying whenever you kind of go about your day and you just feel hungry all the time, like you need a snack, or you're kind of dragging a little bit and you think the solution is to eat more food. No, it's not. Okay? It's your body is just craving more drugs. It's craving the next dopamine hit. And ever since I've removed that and gotten past all the drug withdrawals that does happen whenever you cut this stuff out, as I did experience drug-like withdrawals, like literally, not to the level of like hard drugs, like like it's like sweating or whatever, and like screaming, nothing like that, but the intense craving for like I just need a hit. I need some sugar now. I need sweet things. I felt that for about 2 weeks, and then my body was like, okay, we're good. Like, it just flushed everything out. It was nice. And I didn't feel that craving, that compulsion for sugar anymore, for carbs. I didn't deal with that up and down of dopamine, that crash and that spike. It feels good because not having that compulsion to eat anymore, I can go about my day and just live it. Even if I don't eat, it's fine. Now, I'm not saying that you just shouldn't eat. Like, I still try and eat food because, you need to nourish your body and whatnot. But it's nice to not feel that constant, like, itching, I need something right now. And, I'm not, I think it's also been really beneficial in terms of, I don't look to seek a ton of pleasure from the food that I eat, but I still do. The food that I still eat is still delicious, but I don't go out in search of it. Like, it's not my source of entertainment anymore. And so I can find other things to do, which I've found to be very beneficial in my life. It's just killed all of the food noise in my life. And I'm really grateful for that. By removing the carbohydrates, that's how I did it. Remove the food noise. The next is, well, I guess this kind of ties onto it. I've been getting leaner than ever, and it's just so easy. Like, you don't need to eat that much on a carnivore diet or even a ketogenic diet because you're getting in super nutrient dense foods. Of course, if you're not eating like the keto junk, right? That stuff is shit. If you're eating whole foods, right? Whole ketogenic foods, dude, you're going to be golden. You're going to be getting in your nutrients, you're going to be getting in your protein. So eating less is just super easy to do to begin with because you're going to be full. Like, you're not going to be as hungry in general because you're not, you're not craving a drug that makes you fat. But you're going to be able to have the energy. You're going to be, dude, there's so many good things, bro. I'm sorry, this is a little bit less organized than I like it to be. But I've been getting leaner than ever on this diet. It's been nice. My daily activity is good. I'm not craving much. I'm able to eat less and not feel hungry for it. That's how I probably should have phrased it to begin with. But yeah, leaner than ever. Still been building some muscle. Obviously, I've been eating like a ton of food recently, so gaining muscle with that is probably kind of hard to do. Yeah, building muscle. Oh, the energy, like my lethargy lifted. I used to feel really, really lethargic whenever I was eating carbs. I would eat and then I just like pass out. Like, it's like the post Thanksgiving dinner thing. And I don't think that's from the tryptophan in the turkey, dude. I'm pretty sure that's from the freaking mashed potatoes, the um, the casseroles and whatever, the buns, um, just the jam. What else is in a Thanksgiving spread? Like the carbs in there, they make you really full, and it just takes so long to digest because I mean you're eating a lot of food as well, and that's what kind of makes you sleepy afterwards, is because your body's just like, whoa, we gotta digest food. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the turkey itself. Um, yeah, I kind of got off tangent there, but my lethargy and tiredness and my energy is so much better than it used to be. I'm able to walk around a ton, lift weights. It's really awesome. And kind of the last point that I'll put there is my brain fog is just gone. I used to not be able to think after certain periods after I ate, and that really, really annoys me, or annoyed me, because if you, it's just whenever you have brain fog, dude, and your mental acuity isn't quite there, and you're just kind of like a zombie. You just feel like shit. And I mean that's the best way to really sum it up. Is like you just feel like shit. You just don't feel good, and you're just like you just can't be bothered with anything. And ever since that's lifted, for the most part, like dude, I don't get that sort of same feeling like shit feeling anymore, unless I'm like really underslept, or maybe some spices or whatever slipped into my food. I just don't feel that great, or I'm dehydrated, something like that. It rarely happens now. It doesn't happen nearly as often as it used to, and I'm really glad that it doesn't. But yeah, that's why I stopped eating carbs. That's how it's benefited my life. You can make your own decision. I'm just making this video to share kind of my story and why I did it. You know, I'm not going to force you to join me, my carnivore ways, my low carb zealotry, as some of the sugar addicts will say, but it's genuinely changed my life, and I think it would change yours as well. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to try a ketogenic carnivore diet out, then I'm making a course for that down in the description to get you through your first 30 days of carnivore. Um, it's not finished quite yet as of recording this, but just check out the links, see if it is, and I will see you in there if you do. So, see ya. Bye bye.